Hello, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast, Spiritual Sense. Today is Saturday, which is February the 12th. And so in this podcast, it's an open social discussion in regards to the occult, supernatural, as well as paranormal. I speak on topics such as hauntings, curses, angels, demons, spirit guides, out of body experiences, and near death experiences. And I also incorporate a daily tarot card reading into this podcast as well. I would like to start off by saying that this podcast is for entertainment purposes. That means if the things that I present on this podcast just so happen to coincide with what you're dealing with, that may be by chance or even by happenstance, meaning that I don't go snooping, probing, and prying into anyone's personal affairs and then presenting it here. When you begin to get into spirit and spirituality, spirit work and spirituality, you will notice how synchronicity and serendipity will come into focus or come into place. And oftentimes I'm visited by spirits, meaning if the reading is applicable to a living person, someone that I know of that dealt with that similar or same situation will step in. And that gives me inclination as to, okay, this is what the situation may be. That happens, out of 10 readings, I may have that to happen maybe 4 or 5 times. Oftentimes the readings are for, clarity or insight on something that, he wants me to convey or the spirit wants me to convey, okay? So, give me just a moment. So today I am working with the Secrets of the Tarot deck card, which are, my favorite. So instead of me going into the, specifics as to, the spreads, when you do tarot card reading, you can, you make it your own. That's what made tarot card reading so unique, is once you get more comfortable with the cards, it's going to coincide with your thought process, whatever you associate to that card, and it will fall into place, okay? So I favor the 10 card Celtic Cross. I also do a 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a 5 card spread as well. Okay, so let me proceed. So I made a Florida water spray, which I am using over my cards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, somehow I have 2 issues that I'm speaking about, and I had a card to fall out, so I'm going to put that off to the side. Okay, so for card 1, which I have 2 cards today, I have 6 of Pentacles, raising money or salary. I have the Sun, marriage, happiness, and bright prospects. For card 2, the barrier or obstacle, I have the Fool card, good friends, happiness, needing to take a giant leap of faith or a leap forward. Card 3, I have Knight of Wands, young man to 25, important letter. part 4, which I have turned in the downward position, is the Hermit card. It says, loneliness, unattached soul, searching, time needed, or time alone. Okay. I feel like this reading is applicable to someone. I feel like this reading is in regards to a death. I honestly do. I feel like the reading is in regards to a death. And I feel as though it's a death that we have seen in the media, and I'm talking about a monumental type of death, like of a celebrity. But of course, as I mentioned, I don't do personal readings, and I don't want to be involved in anyone's investigation. But I had an inclination that, presented in my spirit, and it just kept on and 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 on. And so I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I feel as though this is what this is applicable to. I feel as though this person was side up, is what I feel. Like, somehow I feel as though his spirit has presented to me to let me know that he was side up. And he was used as a scapegoat to deceive certain spirits in order to gain monies, is what I feel. It lets me know that he was side up by way of, to me it looks like it was two people that sought him up, is what he lets me know. And it was a cover for some other people, is what it is. This is what it lets me know. Like, his spirit steps in, and he wants it to be conveyed that they sought me up. It was two people that sought me up for other people. So they used my image, or used me, to set me up for a group of people, is what he lets me know.
Text message.
To my right, I have the Emperor card, stability and stabilizing influence coming into your life. He says that the persons involved in this situation were lazy and did not want to work. They would not want to work, didn't have no initiative, no drive, no aspirations to be anything better. That's what that was. And he says that it was all a setup, is what it was. Card 6, I have King of Pentacles, man over 25. Says dark eyes, dark hair, business, arrogance, and powerful. He wants it to be known that this is how things are in this particular business, in this particular industry. That's what he lets me know. He said, this is how things are in this particular industry. So, what's above the situation, Knight of Wands, which I have important letter. It's a message. It's what we want people to know. So we use certain, he says they use certain celebrities to bring awareness to the industry and what that industry involves and entails, and why people in certain industries are afforded such extravagance, because they're constantly worrying. It's a constant anxiety. It's a constant, there's no trust, is what he says. He says in this industry, you cannot trust your own mama. He said, I'm just going to put it out there. Your own mama, you cannot even trust in this industry. He said, we are so programmed. And I feel like the person that I'm speaking in this present time, but this is something that I'm being used as a vessel, because this person is no longer here. Like, this person has transitioned over. to the other side. He said we are so programmed to where we don't even know, oftentimes we don't even know the days of the week. The only thing we know is to do. And because we are so conditioned to be this way, we are spirits, essentially. He said this industry is full of spirits. That means there is no control over us, and this is how come we have to be watched and studied continuously. So as I mentioned about paparazzi is, so to speak, the dad. We come up with these terms to throw certain people off, but those who have been let in, who feels empathy for us, are able to see it for what it is. Oftentimes, you have to watch the very people that is in your inner circle. Is what he lets me know. But he says that he says this is how come we have to we cross over and we get into other industries to get some type of clarity or insight, because I do have the card. You remember I said I had an extra card that was on to the side which mentions 9 of Wands, undecided, needs to take a step out of the situation, then you will see more clearly. So he says this is how come we cross over, meaning we go to another industry so we can get some sense of knowing or insight about a situation, because oftentimes we are shielded from a lot of things. Like they keep us like we are in a box, is what he says. We don't know what to believe. We don't know what to believe, what not to believe, who to trust, what to do, and oftentimes everything we do is being told to us. He says, so I want to enlighten a lot of people out here who get so fixated and fascinated with people that are on TV. All of us are not like that, is what he says. However, many of the people in this industry are. And many of us, when we have grasped that understanding, we are an adversary or a mockery towards that mentality, because it's nothing how you think it is. Card 7. 7 of Cups. All that glitters is not gold. Look beyond the clouds. Money improvements. So, oftentimes when I get the 7 of Cups card, which has a man standing up, he's looking in the sky, and you got all these things in a cup, that oftentimes is disillusion or an illusion. Like it's not what it appears to be. It's what he wants it to be conveyed. But I feel as though this reading is particular to a celebrity who has transitioned on. The person that I'm speaking about, he has transitioned on as well. He lets me know it's 2 people that sought him up. It was 2 people that sought him up by way of a group of people. And I'm just going to talk in general, because I don't want nobody knocking at my door saying that I said anything. So that's why I, try to keep it as, you come up with whatever it applies to, because this situation is common. It's a common thing. Okay? So card 8. Now card 8 is what's physically surrounding. Knight of Pentacles. It says, young man to 25 visitors, messages to share. He said we was brought in to vocalize and speak for this industry and to mock that intellect that many people, common folk, like everyday walks of life people, think of these celebrities and this industry. It was awareness, and when they become aware as to what you're doing, you're on your own. And we was warned prior to, he said, so they get us, the ones who are not able or capable of sustaining income, readily income. And when we get encased in that reality, in that industry, we become a self-fulfilling prophecy. We become encased in the madness, in the confusion and chaos, is what he says. Because those spirits come after you. So in other words, they push us up to mark the mentality and tell on the industry just to turn around and sacrifice us, is what he says. He says, so before I reach my demise, God revealed a lot of things to me in terms of why psychology comes into place, why rap is into place, and how the formulation of language came about. Everybody don't need to know it all. You tell it in a song, in a rhythmic fashion. You tell it by way of another way, is what it mentions to me. It's what he wanted to be conveyed. Because when you begin to let those spirits know what you're doing, they will try to harm you. Card 9. Two of Cups, peace of mind, joining of two people. He says oftentimes they would come at you in the form of whatever vice, anything that you have to do, what they say that you need or have to do, is oftentimes is how they get you. So if you could just sit back and reason and think of the things in life that they try to force upon you, that's going to tell a tale. Card 10, the outcome. 7 of Swords, plans, hopes, wish card, highest minor arcana. He says, I was very fearful prior to my demise. He said, not only was I fearful, but the celebrity was fearful as well as the ones who helped perpetuate my setup. Everybody was in fear, is what there was. See, people talk a good game about what they will do and what they're going to do, but when those spirits are unleashed, they're coming from all different avenues. I mean, things that you never even thought about, countless amount of things and ways that it can get you. We become fearful, and when you become fearful, you react. And he says, this is what happened. The ones that set me up, is what he says, for my demise, became fearful, is what they did, because they sought them up. They led them to believe that they had everything in the palm of their hand. They had so much power. They was in so much control. Everything people did, they just followed. He said, and little did they know, those were demonic spirits deceiving them. Because when those other spirits come in from all walks of life to make them aware of what they were doing, and as such, they become fearful, is what he says. And they begin to turn against each other, and in turn they turn against me, is what he says. He says, so don't fall. This is what keeps us humble. Humble means
message.
He said, let them know that humble means grounded. Meaning, don't let somebody pump you up. When somebody pays you a compliment, okay, thank you, and move forward. Don't let it go to your head, is the point. Meaning, don't believe it. Don't entertain it, is the point. Because when you become somebody who think they are so powerful and have so much control and able to manipulate people, when they unleash those spirits towards you, you have them coming at you all different type of ways. I mean, you can't even fathom. I mean, this is stuff that was shielded from you your whole lifetime. Things you never even thought about. He said, so tell them, he said, in my name, because I'm no longer here. He said, but put the message out in my name, what humble truly means. Don't get the big head about life. When they afford you these things, okay. and move forward. Don't let that define who you are, because when you begin to do that, it will set you up to have you fall down even further. And you would rather be closer to the ground when you make that fall, in other words. Because if you're in the clouds, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. That means it's going to be a hard fall, in other words. He says, so if I didn't contribute anything else in this life, tell them. Who is them? The younger generations, or those who may want to listen. Make them aware of spirits. And so I do feel as though this is a relevant reading. It was placed on my heart to speak on this. I got up this morning. Oftentimes when I get like this, it's a constant, and it's a constant, and it's a constant. And I'm like, what is it? Because many times it's perpetuated with me smoking cigarettes, which is something that I put it down, I pick it up. I'm not really, I wouldn't consider myself to be addicted to cigarettes. But when I need to convey a message, it's like my brain get engaged, and I'm constantly focused. So I have control of my faculties. I want it to be known. But this is spirit speaking. This is a message that he wants it to be conveyed. This is what we mean when we say stay grounded. Don't get above yourself. Because when you fall hard. So you want to be as close to being grounded, meaning being true to who you are. Okay, so I do think that was a good reading. It was a relevant reading, and it was also a spiritually led reading because, like I said, I got up 3:30 this morning, and I said, what is it that you want me to convey? Because the person that came to mind, I feel as though the person that sought the person and persons, but, my focus was on the male counterpart or the male participant. He just, it was a constant with him who is still alive. And I feel like he's feeling a lot of guilt right now. I really do. I do. And it just was constant on my mind, just constant. I said, what is it that he wants me to convey? And I said, okay, well, I got up, get something to eat early this morning and laid back down and proceeded to, pray and pay homage. And I said, okay, I wasn't going to say that the reading was applicable to that situation until the cards lay. And that's when it says, okay, you need to speak on this because this needs to get out. This is very relevant and important. Okay? So I do thank you for tuning in to this episode of Spiritual Sense. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. I do have the YouTube Spiritual Sense where you can listen in to this podcast as well as my other podcast, which is on my main YouTube channel, Sharonda King, under the Holistic Health Approach. And under that YouTube channel, I have Holistic Health, where I go over natural home remedies for minor health concerns. I also speak on chakra clearing. I also have Health Matters, where I go over chronic care, ailments and disease processes. And Ancient Ancestry, where I go over the history, customs, beliefs, and cultures of, many cultures around the world. Okay? So, again, I thank you for tuning in. You have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.